Hey everyone, Sam here, and I'm very excited because today I got in my copy of Blood on the Clocktower. I ordered that in April of 2021, so a bit over a year ago. That means this is the retail version and not the Kickstarter version, which has some extra goodies. But I thought I would do an unboxing video. I haven't seen any for the retail version, so if you're looking for the Kickstarter version, there's plenty of other videos out there. So this will just have the retail stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you're not familiar with what Blood on the Clocktower is, it's a social deduction game. By far my favorite game, social deduction or otherwise. Some people also call it a social deception game. But like most games of this type, you got a uninformed majority versus an informed minority, which is to say, for this game, you have an evil team who's just a handful of players who know who each other are. They're trying to eliminate all the other players and keep, in this particular game, keep their demon alive. And then you have a good team who are the majority of the players who don't know who anybody else is, and they are trying to find and execute the demon specifically. Other games you'd have to want to get rid of the entire evil team, but in this one, you're just getting rid of the demon. Um, Great game. You can see here a little closer. This is a heavy game too, by the way. It's over 10 pounds. You have this little sleeve. You got all the back. It's got quotes and comes with 3 different editions, 3 different scripts. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So this has a little sleeve that comes off. So again, you can get a good look at that. And I'm not going to go through every single component, but I'm going to go through every component type. Then here, I love this so much. This looks like like a giant tome. So it's got these edges here. Really cool. And then the light's reflecting off of it a bit, and I won't bother reading all this, but yeah. Cool. Let's get it opened up. Let's just open up like any other game box. So, one of the big features of this is the felt lining. A lot of your, oh, that feels so nice. There's character tokens. You pass those out. That's how players figure out what character they are in this game. And then those, when you pick them up off the players, you put them down in here, like in the circle that they're sitting in, and they just stick there. It's a felt, so it's pretty much like Velcro. I mean, it's like Velcro but quiet, basically. So we have some just blank sheets here. These are going to be for, this looks like this opens up. There are night sheets that the storyteller will use. There's rule sheets, and there's character sheets that the players will use throughout the game. Because in this game, every player does have a unique character with a unique ability. It's one of the best things about this game. It's also nice because there's no player elimination. Yeah. So I'll sort all these later. The color one, I believe, is for your night rule sheets, I believe, and then the smaller ones are for all the character sheets. There's 3 of those. There's 3 sets of 20 character sheets each. In fact, here is I should have had a little bit more space here. Oh goodness! Here are all the character sheets. These are super nice. So let's go ahead and open these up. There's 3 editions in this game. There's a beginner edition and 2 intermediate editions. Don't let the beginner edition fool you. It is just as good for veterans of this game as it is for beginner players, but it teaches those beginner concepts. I ran a game online last night, and it'll run through the ringer if you want it to, as much as just as much as about anything else. So I'm trying to get these separated. So I guess there's 20 each of here because you can have up to 20 players in a game. So here's your Trouble Brewing. Again, players would have these. Let me get a picture of that. Players would have these, and they would refer to, here's the townsfolk, the outsiders. These are all on a good team, and then there's minions on the evil team, and then in this script there's only one demon, but that all these red characters would be your evil team. And you don't have to memorize all these when you're first playing. You will over time, but players are going to want to be able to refer to those during the game. Your two intermediate scripts, here's Bad Moon Rising. Same thing. Now the other scripts do have 4 demons on them, but each script otherwise has 13 townsfolk, 4 outsiders, which are on the good team, but have abilities. It's for balance reasons. Has abilities that hurt the good team. Minions, demons, and then finally, Sex and Violets. Move that purple. And then once again, you got your 4 demons, 4 minions, 4 outsiders, 13 townsfolk. Like I said, everybody's going to get a unique character. Not every character is going to be in play. And that's an important part of this game, because players are going to try to figure out who's who, who's telling the truth, who isn't, who's getting accurate information, who isn't. No player elimination, so you get to play the entire time. So we'll set aside tokens. We'll see those in a bit, but tokens would go in here. You decide what characters will go into the game based on a certain set of rules. Put them in here. Pass these around the players. They'll draw out those tokens, and you'll place them in your grimoire. So here we have the empty piece of cardboard. Toss that out. So most of these are empty right now, but your additions for all your tokens will go into these different addition boxes. Yeah, so here's Trouble Brewing. So you'll see good reminders, townsfolk, outsiders, minions, demons, evil reminders. So your character tokens will go in the middle. And your reminder tokens, which you use in your grimoire to help you keep up with the state of the game, all go in those sides there. Pretty cool. So we have a box for Trouble Brewing. We have a box for Bad Moon Rising. It's all the same thing. It's got a different color to match the theme of the script. And I believe for this initial purpose, Sex and Violet should have. Yeah. So again, same thing, but we got a few extra goodies in here. I'll pull these out. So again, you got, it's purple. So in here we have, these are a death shroud. So when, again, you use your grimoire to keep track of the state of the game. So you have these little death shrouds. They go on top of a character token. And that way you can note inside your grimoire who's dead, who isn't. And I'll show these a little bit later. That's not a very good picture, but that'll be fine for now. More death shrouds, so there's a second bag of that. And then these are the bulldog clips. These are important because, so these two halves, these two halves of the boxes clip together with these clips. Right. So, gosh. 2 on the ends. I'm not sure. I've read a mix of things, whether these are supposed to come with 2 or 3. I have 3, which works for me. You have 2 all the way on the ends. I don't know if I should pick this up with this much stuff. And I'll wait. But you can pick it up, and it's going to be light because I'm going to have all this stuff out. But then you can lift it up and you carry it with you. These tall sides here mean people can't, they're sitting down, you're standing up, you're holding this. They can't see inside of it. Here's Sex and Violets box. And I'm going to sort all these out, not on camera. That would take too long. And then this is Travelers and Fabled. This isn't an addition, but these are extra characters. that work with the game. Travelers, there's 5 travelers for each edition that's recommended. Those are players who can come in late or they can leave early, unlike other players who need to stay the entire time. Or if you're playing with over 15 people, you need, anybody over 15 players would need to be travelers. Fabled are special, almost like storyteller characters. It doesn't make you play in the game any differently, but they change the rules in some form or fashion. They do a wide variety of things. You have reminders, fabled, travelers, life tokens, which we'll get to, and then vote tokens, which we'll also get to. Yeah. That's where you put that stuff. And now we have a few things here, so I'll start here. So all of these are life tokens. So let's just go ahead and pull one of these out. So we'll get to it, but there's going to be a board in the middle of the town, what we call a town square. It's basically in the middle of the circle on the floor where everybody's playing. And for each player, there's going to be these little tokens that's going to sit there. And then when they die, you mark that by flipping it over. And that's how everybody can keep track of that. And then these are, I believe, vote tokens. So, throughout the game, when you're alive, you can vote as many times as you'd like. When you die, you just have one vote for the rest of the game. Usually you're going to use that at the end. So if you're alive, you die, you'll put your vote token on here. And then if you use up your vote, you'll pull that away, and then you can't vote for the rest of the game. So those are the vote and night tokens. There's also information tokens for the storyteller who's going to be giving information during the night, and you have little cards like these. So if during the game there are a few ways where you can change characters or maybe even change alignments. So you would say, you are, and then you would show. We haven't gotten to the characters yet, but you would show whatever the new character is, or this is good, this is evil. If you turn from good to evil, you'll say you are, and thumbs down for evil. And then there's also on the other side, this player is, and that's for abilities that get to see, somebody else. And all the rest of these anyway are, more life tokens, more vote tokens, more of these. These are your minions, so you'll show this to your demon and then point towards the minions. Then you're also going to wake the minions. Show this is your demon. And that is how the evil team learns each other silently at night. So for sex and violence, this is important. There are 2 characters that keep track of whether the demon voted, and another one that keeps track of if minions nominated. A lot can happen during a day, so if you forget, you can put ask the demon, did you vote today? They have to answer honestly. Or did you nominate today? You would ask that of each minion, and they would have to answer honestly. See here. The demon, when they learn information during the day, they learn 3 not in play characters. We usually call those demon bluffs. So, you show that to the demon, these characters not in play, and then you show 3 character tokens that no player is. And that gives them free to bluff. They can pass those on to the minions. And then sometimes abilities can affect other players. So, this character selected you. And that would be like, for example, a Sarah Novus. It's not worth explaining all these if you don't already know, but that is how those get shown for the night. I should also note, and it would be nice if these were differentiated a little bit more. But here's a normal life token, and then this more golden color is for travelers to, show that they're not just a regular character. Alright, next we have, so this comes with a grimoire stand, which is pretty cool, and there's 2 parts, and this is just the first part. There's also a board that'll lay here, and then this whole piece here can sit on it. My computer is trying to go to sleep on me, don't want that. So we'll come back to this. Let me set this aside. Right, so we'll come back to the stand later. Okay, here are... Ooh, these already feel nice. These are the character tokens. You can't really see anything now, so let's get these open. These are going to be all your tokens for every character in the game. If I had the Kickstarter version, I would have an extra set of these, but I do not. So these are what you need for the base games. And like I said, so this black is all felt. So you press this felt against the Grimoire felt, and they'll stick right there. So, trying to figure out what my dog's doing. Right, so it looks like, and I think these are more or less in order of additions, just by the way they work. So, oh, so these are both character tokens and also reminder tokens. Again, reminder tokens you put in your grimoire to help remind yourself of different abilities. It's all going to vary. So let's just give it a good look here. So those are different characters. You know, these are all different reminder tokens, and these right here are night tokens. And on the right-hand side, we're going to have a night sheet. And you'll use these little tokens to remind yourself who needs to wake up at night. I've already got tokens trying to come out. So here, for example, is, you know, the mayor. They have an ability, if only 3 players live and no execution occurs, your team wins. If you die at night, another player might die instead. So you draw this token and you would know what the ability is. But you can also look at your character sheet. You won't keep this during the game. The storyteller will get it back, but you'll be able to look at that sheet and remind yourself what your ability is, and also other people could refer to it too. You tell them you're the mayor, and they can look at that. And I know you can't really see this, and I want to mess with this later. But yeah, that should stay right there. I'm going to mess with this more later, but let me just go ahead and pull a few of these out. Again, you have the felt on the back. This is the Raven Keeper. And I'll just grab, this is not the correct reminder token for any of these characters, but I'll just grab them and set them there. And when I get a chance, I'll showcase those a little bit more. So there are, there's like 8 of these. So some of these reminder tokens don't go to the same edition, but that's fine. There's also, if you're looking at these yourself, if you need a reminder as to what goes where, other than the character sheets, you can see like, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's, yeah, 1 pip says TB, 2 pips BMR, 3 pips S&V. They're really hard to see, but there's little white pips on the side here. So there would be 1 on each side of here to show that this is a character that goes into TB. And the reminder tokens also have that. They're really hard to see on here, but you can see like 1 pip up here. Some of these down here have 3. Yeah, so here's some Trouble Brewing characters. Bad Moon Rising. Like I said, these characters are already like coming out. Sex and Violets, and then here are Travelers. So they Travelers can be good or evil. That'll be up to the storyteller. Usually they're going to be good, but sometimes they can be evil. So their tokens are both blue and red. So the storyteller has to let them know what team they are on, and then these gold ones are fabled. So it's a good example to show. So like custom scripts, if you need some little bit of outsider manipulation, because the outsider count is an important part. There might be 1 extra or 1 fewer outsider in play. So that gives you a little bit of leeway if the script's not already set up for it. A little bit of leeway to add or take out an outsider, so people aren't sure how many there should be. These are night sheets. So night sheet, and a rule sheet. Great. So you're going to place your night sheet. There's 1 for each edition. They're going to go over here. There is a look at Trouble Brewing. It's a little simpler. You have 1 for your first night. Then after you've ran the first night, you flip this over, and this is for all the other nights. And these little, do I have one? Yeah, these little, like, night, no, not this one. I didn't pull one out. Well, there's those little night tokens that'll go in the Grimoire, and you'll set them next to each step. You won't need all of these, but whatever's in play, whatever's active, whatever's relevant, you'll set them next to them. That'll remind you to wake those players up at night. So one for, again, Trouble Brain, one for Bad Moon Rising, one for Sex and Violets. So here is a information sheet. These have all the travelers, and there's 5 recommended travelers for each edition. So these can be referenced by players if there's any travelers. This down here you'll put below the town square, which we haven't shown yet. And that shows how many townsfolk, how many outsiders, how many minions, and how many demons should be at different player counts. So usually as you add players, you'll add outsiders until you get past 2 outsiders. Instead, at that point you'll reset it down to 0 and add an extra minion. And yeah, and you almost always have 1 demon for the base games. There are characters in the game that will manipulate these numbers that are in play, so that's always important. On the other side, you have explaining the rules. There are 2 versions of this. Yeah, one is to be read by the storyteller, and the other one is if you have an experienced player, they can read it off, and it's yeah, so for example, this one says, ask me any questions you need to. The other one instead frames it as, ask the storyteller any questions you need to. So if you have somebody experienced, they can be reading that off while you're setting up the game. And then one of these has the other side, just the basic steps for the setup. So, gather your players, prepare the Grimoire, choose an edition, so on and so forth. And that, walks you through step by step on how to get the game started. So that's a good resource. Oh, here we go. Rulebooks. These are massive. So this is the default, the regular rulebook. Artwork in here is just, that purple is just so good. It really is. Yeah, credits, contents. Something I think that's worth noting is not all of these are strictly rules. There's a good chunk of this you need to read in order to kind of know what's going on. You need to read really up to the night, the day, execution and death, ending the game. You can kind of get up to here and know enough to get at least from this book, know enough to get a game going. The rest, I believe they recommend reading to get more in depth. It's more like suggestions. You kind of get a little deeper in the rules. Just some good reference. I would probably still recommend reading most of this. It tells you about different, this tells you about travelers and Fabled, but, for your first game, you don't want travelers and Fabled. So you don't really need to necessarily read that for your first game. More artwork. Looks really good. That red really pops out. The red and the purple. Information about great storytelling, making things fun. It's a lot of people look at this as like, oh my gosh, this is huge, and they're not really wrong. But like I said, not all of this is strictly rule stuff that you need to read right away. So hopefully that makes it a little less daunting. Here are the 3 base editions, and then really fun is future expansions that we'll someday get. We don't really know when that'll happen yet. Glossary, that's important. So here's your base rulebook, but there's more. There is an almanac for one of each edition. So here's, Bad Moon Rising, Sex and Violets, Trouble Brewing, and we'll take a quick look at this one here in just a second. And then there's also one, again, for Travelers and Fabled, on how to run all those. So you don't need to read all of these right away, but you do need to start with Trouble Brewing, because that should be the first one that you're running. And this has how to run every character. There's a little bit, there's an intro. This is all flavor text. This tells you really what the script's about, what you're doing in it. And again, you got some pretty cool artwork. Yeah. But then, here's how to run each character. So these are for the townsfolk. I know it's a little hard to see, but you start with the ability text. There's some flavor text, kind of basic information about basic rules for that character, and it goes more in depth than just what the ability text says. Examples, which are good ways to get a sense of how the character works, and then finally, flat out how to run that character, what you need to do at night or before the game, during the night, during the day, whatever you might need to do for that character, how to run it. So this is very important to read. This will let you know how to run each of those characters. So you got your townsfolk. Your mayor gets a page on its own because it's an odd number. It's a little better. Yeah, it's really cool. And then you got your 4 outsiders, and it goes on. You got your minions, your demon, and all the other almanacs are the same way. Travelers and Fabled, BMR, S&V, they walk you through exactly how to do that. Here's the other part of the Grimoire stand. I'm going to put this together in just a couple of moments. But first, here is the town square. There's 2 sides. I don't know if it matters. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what side you put. Here's one side. Here's the other. And these are what's going to sit in the middle. Each player will have their own token, and again, when they die, flip it over. You put one of these vote tokens on. Let them know that they have 1 dead vote left. And that just sits on the floor in the middle of all the players. So, let's get the stand together. So, quite simply, this folds out. See this? You can kind of see it. Yep. No, I think it goes this way. Put this together. Not really supposed to move it around like I am right now, but you get this little stand. Looks like a little lectern. So you can be off away from your players. Grimoire, which again, you'll be able to kind of carry it around like this. Carry it from the middle here. But when you're not using it, set it up here. Make sure I don't knock this off. And these, here's a good time to show how these characters, normally you put all these on the left side, but and they don't fall. You can even see that one fell after I about got it upside down. The other ones haven't fallen yet. Of course, I don't recommend playing upside down. So you can jostle it, move it around. These aren't coming out. Move it upside down, maybe they'll start coming out. I mean, yeah, you can't even slide this. But you can very easily put them down, pick them up. It's really cool. That is so nice. Yeah. So you'd have a bunch of these in a circle. Again, you'd normally have this on the left side, but we grab some of these death shrouds to show you. So when somebody dies, I'll try to have some pictures of these too. Somebody dies, and you just set that right on top, and now, you got a dead player. All right, so your night sheets, they're going to go over here. When you want to mark what you need to do at night, you put these, tokens down. They're also got the felt in the back. I know it's hard to see, but I'll include some pictures as well. All right, and here I have what an actual setup might look like. Maybe at the some point during the first day, and again, kind of carry it around like this. Yeah, but here's what it's looked like. Yeah, and you have a rough circle. The circle might look a little odd because it is what my living room would look like if people were sitting. But yeah, you have some reminder tokens. You have who the washerwoman's going to see, who the poisoner poisoned, who the butler chose as their master. At the top right, there's some extra reminder tokens that I will probably need later in the game. The bottom left is the addition box, and that's got all the spare, character tokens, reminder tokens. Also, pardon me, there's people shooting fireworks outside because it is that time of the year, unfortunately. But you have your first night sheet, reminders as to minion info, demon info, poisoner needs to wake up, washwoman, so on and so forth. At the bottom right, I have my information cards, spare night tokens. Have these. We have those shrouds, so we can make somebody dead. I know it's hard to see from this angle, so that works like that. But all right, that is unboxing Blood on the Clocktower in a nutshell. At least the retail edition. Again, the Kickstarter has a few extra things, but if you're wondering what the retail edition has, this is it. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to play this next weekend. Very excited for it. Thank you very much. Enjoy.